entire group of people saying that they support violence.
What is happening? Mediocre people of YouTube, and I hope I don't lose this tripod because it looks like it's about to snap.
I appreciate your point.
I'm gonna have to pick up a new one. It's a good thing we're out today. What's happening? It is the 12th of April, and there's some shit going on in New York City right now in Brooklyn. Something's going on, man. There's people getting shot. I don't know. Some other crazy bastard doing some dumb shit. There we go. I don't know, man. People are fucked up. That's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about, as probably suggested in the title, is the Randy Rhoads, and let's make sure I didn't turn the damn camera off. Nope, it's still on as far as I know. This is why we're mediocre. What I want to talk about is the Randy Rhoads signature model Marshall amplifier. Cyanicaudio just released a video talking about that amplifier, and he's actually doing some a bit of modification, but he wants to make it reversible because it's a collectible amplifier. By the way, if you don't know about cyanicaudio, I'll put a link up here. Go check him out. And I'm going to say, outside of Uncle Doug, that guy is it. And it's funny too. I mean, if you don't think God has a sense of humor, that guy, God gave him all the knowledge and everything else for all this circuitry, and fucking left him colorblind on top of it. So if you don't think God has a sense of humor, you'd be wrong. But cyanicaudio is a very good channel. I mean, it's the closest thing outside of Uncle Doug you're gonna get. So anyway, he is talking about the Randy Rhoads, again, the Randy Rhoads signature model amplifier, which is, it's a bone stock 1959 Super Lead reissue. That's all it is, and it's got that one wire mod, cascading the gain, which is not the greatest mod. Of course, we didn't keep Randy around long enough to figure out what he really wanted out of those amplifiers, because as you know, he didn't record with those, so and he wasn't thrilled with how they were reacting on stage either. But what I kind of wanted to talk about is what I pulled from that video, and it's no new information here, but this is Cyanic's last video, cyanicaudio. He posted a video called The Secrets Behind the Randy Rhoads Amplifier. And he's talking about the circuit and the gain stages and the one wire mod, and how he's going to go about doing a couple of modifications that are reversible easily because it's a collectible amp. So as I'm watching the video, it kind of reminded me that, we all have to remember that, your amplifier is dead pretty much, for the most part, until you plug your guitar into it. Once you plug your guitar into that amplifier, that completes the circuit, okay? That completes the audio circuit. So depending on, what's in your guitar, the tone pots, the volume pots, the capacitors, whatever's in your guitar, that is completing the circuit, including whatever type of overdrive you're hitting the front of the amp with. You're completing the circuit with everything that's inside that pedal, which is, if you think about it, stop and think about it, it's kind of an interesting proposition. What the hell is that? It's an interesting proposition, because, when you plug, there's certainly a difference. Let's say go plug into your Marshall or your Fender or whatever you got, plug into the front of it and crank it and get it to your settings, and then throw a whatever pedal in front of it, and notice the difference even with the pedal off. You know, I know a lot of pedals will say true bypass, and some of them are kind of, and some of them aren't. But these are the things to take into consideration. And I can't remember this morning if it was West Tone or if it was, oh God, what's the other guitar company? One of the guitar company made their MP series, where they had these little cartridges that you could plug into the back of your guitar, and like one was for overdrive, one was for chorus, there was a delay. Probably pretty difficult to find one of these guitars nowadays with all the little cartridges that plugged into it. So that really kind of sparked my imagination this morning that, you know, boy, I think that company, and I don't remember, I want to say it was West Tone, but I might be wrong on that. That company was really taking into consideration how you're completing that audio circuit, you know, because like I say, until you plug your guitar in, it's an incomplete circuit, and everything that is in your guitar affects that amplifier circuit, which is why, like, I mean, if it were up to me, and who knows, maybe I'll do it on a couple of my guitars, if it were up to me, I would just have a volume. Maybe, you know, if I've got 2 humbuckers, I might have 2 volumes. I don't use my tone control, but if you take that tone control out of the guitar, now, like, let's say I've got my tone control maxed to 10, and it sounds one way. Now, if I take that tone control out, it's going to sound different, and that's because of, even though the tone control is maxed to 10, there's still going to be some variations in the resistance and the capacitance, really. Well, maybe not so much a capacitance, but anyway, the point I'm getting to is, you know, anything you add into your circuit on your guitar is going to change the way your amplifier sounds. Now, are those changeables? Are those changes, can you overcome them just by turning the knobs on your amp? Probably so. So, but, you know, it's all in what you really want. I was watching a live stream the other night. Part of it I caught Scott Grove's live stream the other night. And we were talking about, somebody had posted about these guitar cables they're making now. Basically, it's a regular guitar cable, and they put a tone pot in it, so you can adjust the tone on the guitar cable. And I thought, why do I need that? You know, I already have a tone pot on my guitar that I don't use, and now I need one on my guitar cable. That's me, okay? If it's for you, if it inspires you to play, by all means, go get as many guitar cables with tone pots in them as inspires you to play, you know? So, you know, I used to kind of bash on that stuff, especially, you know, years ago, many years ago, when I was in my teens. You know, the thing of it is, you know, it was kind of, if you had a fake Les Paul, you had a fake Les Paul, you know what I mean? You wanted a real Les Paul, even though the Gibson Les Paul quality wasn't even on par, wasn't even near on par with the Japanese stuff. It was still one of those things, but you got to understand, it also came out of an era where, you know, the big thing was buy American, and we've lost that. You don't even see those Buy American stickers anymore because nobody gives a fuck. I give a fuck when I'm buying my stuff from China that, you know, ultimately comes from China. Either way, what I try to do is, if I'm on eBay and I'm buying a Chinese-made product, I try to at least buy it from a USA seller. Same thing with Amazon. You can see where the sellers are at. So, you know, you can do those sort of things. We need to bring that back to the United States. Although there's a few reasons the United States did what they did, you know, we basically handed over our manufacturing to China for a few reasons. If you were a Democrat, a liberal, you did it. They voted for it because we saw what was coming environmentally. You know, as you know, you see those videos from China where the air is so fucking bad over there because of all the manufacturing that people have to wear masks to keep from breathing the particles from all the fucking manufacturing plants. So that was the Democrats' reasoning, you know, back then, as to vote to give away our manufacturing in this country. I would imagine on the conservative side, they weighed it out and they said, well, we know China's an up-and-coming country. We can either fight that or we can embrace that. We can hand over our manufacturing to China. And if we do that, what that ensures is that China can never fuck with us ever again. Because if the United States and China were to have any type of, forget not even war, but any type of disagreements, the United States, if they ever cut off trade with China, that is literally would be like a light switch for China's economy. The United States woke up one day and said, no more trade with China. We would literally shut off their economy like a light switch. So, you know, I think that tells a lot about our leaders, you know, going back to the 1970s and even 80s, what our leaders were up to, and there was definitely some eggheads in Washington trying to think this stuff through. As far as the stuff that's going on with Russia, you know, the only thing scary about that is if Putin actually wanted to fire off a nuclear weapon. That would fuck things up. Other than that, Russia doesn't have a fucking leg to stand on. Vladimir Putin made damn sure of that by instead of embracing democracy in that country, he went right back to the old motherland of Russia, the old USSR thought of state of mind, and that is why Russia is where they are, is because of the policies of Vladimir Putin. So, you know, as far as him screwing with Ukraine, you know, a lot of people think this has just started, but, you know, this has been going on for many years between Russia and Ukraine. And the worst of it has been in the last 8 years. If you ask any Ukrainian, they'll tell you, well, shit, this war has actually been going on for about 8-9 years now. So no, it didn't just start. And, you know, really honestly, I mean, what's the difference? You know, people say, well, the United States should get involved. Well, why? You know, the United States, you know, is overcoming a pandemic. So is Russia. Like, why is Russia doing this now? You know, the whole world is just outside of this pandemic, which magically disappeared one day. So, you know, why Russia is screwing with Ukraine? You know, I would imagine it's, you know, Vladimir Putin is getting up in age. He wants to leave a legacy behind, and his legacy will be, you know, bringing Russia back to its roots of communism and all that great stuff. As far as, you know, I said this in another video, you know, as far as tubes, valves for amplifiers going up in price, you don't have to blame the Russia thing. You can just call the people who sell you those tubes and bitch at them, because they've had those tubes sitting on their shelves for years now. Whether it's Antique Electronic Supply or whoever, they have had thousands of tubes sitting on the shelves for years. They paid the price they paid for them back then. There's an opportunity to raise the prices substantially because some fucking dumbass came out and said, oh, the price of tubes are going to go up. And then everybody got on board with that stupid sentence. And now the prices of tubes are, you know, going up. It's an opportunity, and they took it. So, you want to bitch at somebody, just call your local supplier and bitch at them and tell them, listen, man, fucking sell me my goddamn tubes for the price you're supposed to sell them to me for, or I'm just not going to buy them from you. You know, it's as simple as that. And, you know, that goes for a lot of things, you know. Like I say about the gas prices. What if 20 million people tomorrow just decided, I'm not going to fucking drive this week? I'll tell you what, gas prices will go down in a hurry. And I've said this before, and I'm saying it again because it's so goddamn frustrating. You know, President Trump told us and did what he told us. He said, this is back in 2020, oil was cheap. President Trump said, we're going to keep buying oil. I'm going to keep on buying it. I'm going to top our reserves. Our reserves are going to be topped to the max, to the max, to the max. To the point where we got to a point where there was tankers sitting offshore waiting to offload because we had nowhere to put it. And I'll tell you something else. There's still tankers sitting offshore waiting to offload right now because we have nowhere to put it. Because today, April 12th, 2022, there's never been as much oil as there is in the United States, and it was purchased at a very low price 2 years ago, and there's no reason for gas prices to be, I'm passing a gas station now, $3.99 a gallon and $4.09 a gallon for diesel. There's absolutely zero reason for that. So, you know, this will show you the Democrats, because they're always so proud of how they can come together and do something and get people together and do something. Well, why don't you get people together and fucking say, hey, because I'll sign up for it. I'm not going to drive this week. Fuck it. Not going to drive. Tell your employer, sorry, can't afford to drive to work. Not going to work either. And you see how fucking fast those oil prices come down. You get 30 million Americans to do that, you'll see how goddamn fast gas prices come down. But the Democrats would never do that. Why would they do that? That's how they lose their base. They lose their voting base. And that's why I've asked you guys before, you guys that always claim, oh, well, the Democrats are the ones that do so much for minorities. Well, I ask you, Mr. or Mrs. Minority, what has the Democrat Party done for you? Ever. They're not gonna, Democrat Party is not going to do anything for you, Mr. or Mrs. Minority, or maybe you don't know which sex you are, minority, because if they were to do that, they wouldn't have a fucking voting base, so they're gonna make it worse on you, if anything. And I say with anything, I shouldn't say it that lightly, because they are going to make it worse on you so that they can scream that shit in the next election cycle and you'll get your fucking dumbass to vote for them again. Because you believe that you are as dumb as they think you are. You believe that shit. Even though we both know you're not really as dumb as they think you are. You are. Anyone who supports this current Democrat Party is a motherfucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot if you support the current Democrat Party. And I'm not a big supporter of the current Republican Party either. They could get off their ass a little more too. But unfortunately, that's our only hope right now, is the Republican Party. Because we're the only ones fucking talking any type of common sense. So I guess there we went down that rant. Good morning to you. It's 9 a.m. This is the doctor. Happy springtime, y'all. Peace.